The Atlanta Legends are in trouble. A month before the season started in mid-January, the Atlanta Legends head coach, Brad Childress, stepped down. I have no idea why he stepped down. If you remember, Brad Childress was the Vikings head coach for 5 seasons. He went 39-35, which is successful, a winning record, 39 wins, 35 losses. He also took the Vikings to the NFC Championship game in 2009 with Brett Favre. And that's a big loss. Losing your head coach a month before the season starts is never good. Now, the new head coach of the Atlanta Legends is longtime NFL assistant Kevin Coyle. He's never been a head coach before. So that's right off the bat. Your head coaching situation is really, really concerning in Atlanta. But it gets worse. Offensive coordinator Michael Vick, former NFL quarterback, is also no longer the offensive coordinator. I have no idea what happened, but what we know is that 2 days before the first game of the season, the first game Saturday, on Thursday before the first game, Michael Vick suddenly stepped down, said not involved anymore. He's taking what is called an advisory role, which I have no idea what that means. Look, I'm not in the room. I don't know. Maybe it's a good change. Maybe Mike Vick was a terrible coach. Who knows? But what we saw in the season opener was a team that lacked leadership, was very, very disorganized. The Orlando Apollos walloped the Atlanta Legends 40-6. And, man, the team struggled. The Atlanta Legends looked bad. They looked disorganized. They missed a bunch of assignments. They got physically outdominated. They got physically dominated. And they didn't look prepared to play. The Atlanta Legends, because of their turmoil at coach, they're in trouble. They busted coverages. They missed blocks. They had poor execution. They were, again, physically dominated up front. And it looked like at one point in the fourth quarter, they just stopped trying. That is a horrible, horrible start to a franchise for the Atlanta Legends. It's most alarming, again, because to have a team give up, to have a team quit and stop trying, that's awful in a league like the AAF. In the AAF, the entire goal is for players to put out a really good product. They're trying to show their skills. It doesn't really matter if you win. You're trying to put on tape the best version of yourself to show NFL teams you can play and try to move up. And, man, the fact they didn't do that, it shows the Atlanta Legends are a mess. They have not a very extremely talented roster. They have a first-time head coach who got thrust into the position a month before the first game. They lost their offensive coordinator. Not to mention, he might have been the problem. Look, I don't want to... Michael Vick might have been the problem, right? The team looked so disorganized. Their offense was awful. Maybe that's because they weren't put in a position to be successful by their former offensive coordinator, Mike Vick. I don't know. But the point is the Atlanta Legends are in trouble. They looked entirely unprepared. Guys were out of position most of the time, more than any other team we saw this weekend. I know that's a lot of what we saw in the AAF opening weekend was guys being out of position. The worst offenders were the Atlanta Legends. They appeared to give up in the fourth quarter. They got physically dominated. My point is the Atlanta Legends are in really, really big trouble, and they're off to a terrible start as a professional football franchise. Oh, I hate doing this. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I really don't like self-promotion. It makes me feel like a used car salesman, but I got to do it. So if you don't know, this is my podcast, Strong Opinion Sports. It's my favorite thing in the world. And you can subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud. You can find it on YouTube. You can find the full entire hour-long podcast on YouTube. You can also find shorter breakout clips like the one you just watched. Please do me a favor. If you like anything I had to say, maybe you hate me and you're mad about something, share this podcast with your friends. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you want to do. Help me grow by telling your friends about this show.